Hello, everybody. It's me, Ross, and welcome back to another edition of Meet the Opposition. This week, I'm joined by Matt from the New York Talk podcast, covering all things Rotherham United ahead of Town's trip to the New York Stadium this weekend, which was going to be the Easter Good Friday game, but now a Saturday game. We'll get into that. But Matt, thanks for joining me. Rotherham United, it's not been a good 7 games. Only 1 win, 3 straight defeats. Give us the lowdown on that, and welcome to the show.
Nice to speak to you again. It's been a crazy few weeks. Pre-international break, we lost to Shrewsbury 3-0, and you're thinking, we were done. 3 or 4 weeks before that, we were done. We were all in Championship. All the fans were already there already. I think we were at one point 10 points ahead of MK Dons in third. We had lost to them, and then it became a real decline. And as I mentioned, the Shrewsbury game, it was just a terrible performance against an average team. Obviously not relegation for the Shrewsbury, but the mid-table team. And them to come to our place and properly beat us, was a massive concern. We then had the international break, and you're thinking, all right, we've got 2 weeks off. We can sort of turn things around. Then with the Papa John's final, and you're thinking, well, nice trip to Wembley, which we all enjoyed. It turned out well. We won the Papa John's, which were brilliant. And then the first game back, what was Saturday just gone against Charlton, again, just rubbish. We're not causing teams problem. I did some research for our podcast, and in the last 3 games, we've had 4 shots on target. In the corresponding fixtures, in the same 3 opposition, we had 15 shots on target. So it's very easy. I think it feels very easy to see where our problems are. But there's lots of nerves, lots of frustration around the fans, and it's tough. We're sitting third, and I'm saying it's tough. You know what I mean? But it just feels from where we were to where we are now. It feels like such a drop, and there's worries around amongst all Rotherham fans at the minute.
Yeah, it's about a month or so ago where it was Rotherham top of the league. See ya, goodbye again. Enjoy Championship football. And of course, you bossed us at Portman Road when Paul Cook was in charge, a 2-0 win. That was not a good evening for Town fans watching. We're like, oh, here we go again. Rotherham coming to town and bossing us. What has changed then? In this last 7 games, Paul Warren's team, Tuesday night, 3-0 defeat at Fratton Park against Pompey. A disappointing result there. What has just gone wrong?
It feels like a bit of a mixture of several things. The shots thing I've mentioned, you're not going to shoot, you're not going to score. That's the basics of football, which is definitely part of it. Some people think we've been found out. We have been playing 3-5-2 all season, and it's been working brilliantly. That's the reason we were so convinced at your place. That formation pressed you into some issues. But whether teams have found us out or whether we've stopped playing the system right, I don't know. And there seems to be a stubbornness from Paul Warren, and that's not one of the words I normally associate Paul Warren and his team with. But there's no, so for example, on Tuesday night when we were losing, when it went to 2-0 down, and you're just thinking, try something different, go to 4-4-2, go to whatever, try something a little bit different. And he didn't, he just went like for like, kept the same system, and unsurprisingly, nothing changed. I don't know. I just feel like I'm rambling on about it, but the individuals have, I want to say, stop performing, they stop having an impact. Dan Barlasser, who is one of the best midfielders in the division, he's just not having the impact. I don't know whether that's other teams being a bit cleverer or whether we've stopped playing through the middle. Chio Ogbene, who is lightning quick on the right-hand side, I think teams have doubled and sometimes tripled up on him. So he's nullifying that a little bit. Michael Smith stopped scoring. He hasn't scored since mid-February. And nobody else is chipping in. The last time a striker scored for us was end of February. So we're almost 2 months ago since a striker scored in the league for us. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But there's been so much unrest on Rotherham fans over the last few days. We talked about start recording. Some fans have started turning on Paul Warren, and I'm not one of those. A lot of people aren't, but people are sitting there looking, saying, well, how can this be the same team? Somebody's doing something wrong, and people have lost a lot of frustration. People are drawing comparisons to last season of the Championship, where we had so many games in hand, and you're thinking, oh, it's all right, we've got games in hand, and it didn't work. And people are saying, well, the same thing's happening again. Now, there are different circumstances, but that's a lot of people's frustration, I think, as Rotherham fans, and it's not a nice fan to be at the minute. The fan base is not a great place to be at the minute.
No, when everything was rosy, and then the last 7 games or so, I know you had the great trip, to go into Wembley, winning that. Although you had to score a last-minute equaliser to get to extra time, and then luckily it was all rosy, and then lifting the title at Wembley. Let's take a look at the last 11 then against Pompey. A 3-0 defeat at Fratton Park. Off air, I said, will there be any changes? Osio Tutu unfortunately got injured in that game. He was seen with crutches. Morgan Smith is your top goal scorer, even scoring goals, but actually said he hasn't scored since February. So that must be a bit of a worry. And there's other players that stand out for me. Ben Wiles, he's a fantastic player for this level. Any other players we should look out for this weekend who just need to make a mark once again to get Rotherham in the position where they want to be again?
Yeah, the other key was Ben Wiles is a doubt. He came off at half-time against Pompey with a dead leg. Having been a doubt for the Pompey game with the dead leg, that didn't pan out. So Ben Wiles is probably a doubt. We'll find out in the pre-match presser a bit more detail. Osio Tutu got a big knock on his shin. The keeper's come out and not quite cleared him out, but big contact with his shin, and he was in a lot of pain. So if he plays, it'll be a surprise, which is a shame because he was the only bright spark from Tuesday. The only bright spark then gets injured, which just sums up our run at a minute. Dan Barlas is the obvious one in midfield. If you stop Barlas, you stop a lot of our movement through the midfield, which I think is what has been happening. The back three, we have been playing back three. I assume we will continue playing back three. Richard Wood will probably be at the centre of that, but he's played twice in a week and he's getting on a bit, and it's quite rare he plays 3 games in a week, so we could see a change there. I'm just thinking of we've got, and I'm just dreading this game. Sorry. Michael Smith will play, definitely play. He's not in best form, but we've got to play him. Coyote will come out probably for Freddie Ladapo. Now, Freddie Ladapo loves the spotlight, and with it being on Sky, it might be the day. It might be the time for Freddie to come back into form. I want to see changes. I personally want to see a change in formation, but I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, I think those couple of changes I mentioned are probably ones we will probably see coming in Saturday. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Saturday. Well, to be, of course, a Good Friday fixture. We all football fans enjoy the Good Friday, Easter Monday. But yeah, as you mentioned, Sky have got their grubby hands on it. So it will be on Sky on Saturday. Of course, Town fans have to travel up early for the game. Yeah. And our record on Sky is not great, Town fans. Won just 3 of the last 34 games on Sky, which is not great. I asked you, about you played Sheffield Wednesday. You beat them on telly 2-0 this season. Of course, the Papa John's Trophy game was on Sky as well. But yeah, on Sky, Rotherham vs Ipswich. What games can we expect from a Paul Warne side taking on a young Kieran McKenna as well? Yeah,
and I would, if this was 6 weeks ago, I'd be saying that we're going to pressure you. If you try and play football, we're going to pressure you high. We're going to make life difficult for you. We're going to be full of energy. That's disappeared. We talked about in our podcast last week, that I don't know what our identity is at the minute. So I honestly don't know what to expect from us on Saturday. If we're back to it and you try and play a little bit of football, we are going to press the hell out of everybody. But I just don't know if that's going to be the case or not. I wish I could give you more insight into what to expect, but it honestly feels like the luck of the draw in terms of how we're going to perform. And that worries me. That Ipswich have got some good players. They've got some really, really good individual players that obviously haven't been performing consistently, but they are good players. And if we allow your good players to have some time, feel comfortable, which is what we've allowed teams to feel comfortable against us. Well, most teams in League One are going to hurt you, especially teams like Ipswich. So I'm hoping to see us give you no time, but I don't know if that's going to be the case or not.
And I want to talk about, the home form, New York Stadium. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Rotherham fans on the back of your side after the recent form. That they're going to want to see a result, a performance that they'll, be happy to go on to for the rest of the season, because you guys are going to you're in the mix for automatics. Probably still would like to win the title, but Wigan currently are running away with it. This will be a deciding weekend. Our season is over. So really, it's us just hopefully finish the season off strong. But of course, Rotherham fans in the New York Stadium, they're going to be wanting a response after the last few weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah, definitely. The first goal's key, really obvious footballing cliche, but the first goal's key. If you get an early goal, I can see the fans turning a little bit. I can see it becoming a toxic place. In the Shrewsbury game when we lost 3-0 after the second goal, the stadium emptied, and there were 20 minutes left or something like that. It just emptied. And the ones that did stay, or a lot of the ones that did stay, booed them off at the end. It has been, other than the past month, it's been an okay home form. I think we're 5th in the league table for home form. So it's not like we're bad at home. It just feels like there's extra pressure. Again, because we got relegated, because we were top for so long, there's just that expectation that anybody that comes to our place, we should be doing them. And when it doesn't happen, it seems to become a horrible place or a toxic place to watch. I don't think we come from behind either. So again, if you get the early goal, we don't come from behind very well this season, other than at Wembley. So again, that's another concern. That first goal is absolutely huge. If you can get an early goal, it could be a very long afternoon for us.
Indeed, and yeah, once again, I'm going to bring it up again. It is frustrating that the game is on Sky, so Town fans will be having to travel early. What can away fans look forward to going to Rotherham? Normally, it's a normal Saturday, 3 p.m. You got more time on your hands, but you ain't got much time. But where can they go? And yeah, what can they look forward to?
Well, I don't know what will be open if you'll get down to Rotherham for 11 o'clock. I don't know what will be open, to be honest with you. But it's a town centre ground, so if you've never been before, it is basically in the town centre. So you can walk into town and there's loads of different pubs. I don't know which ones are away friendly, to be honest with you, but you'll be able to find them anyway. And New York City, it's a brilliant place to watch football. We talk about the atmosphere sometimes, but it's just a great place. It's not like one of these grounds where you've got no leg room and you're all squashed together like sardines. If you want to sit down for a away game, then there's plenty of leg room. If you want to stand up at the back, then I don't know how many you guys are bringing, but the more away fans there are, the better atmosphere the ground is. When we play teams like Fleetwood and Accrington with less fans, the atmosphere gets lost a bit. So I'm hoping that you guys are going to bring a few and it can build up to a good atmosphere.
Indeed, I'm just looking back at the last, games at New York Stadium. 1-0 defeat in 2020, and we had Paul Lambert in charge. There've been 1-0 defeats the last 3 times we played here, and of course we had a nice win back in 2015, a 5-2 win, but it's not been a good place to go in recent times. But Matt, any other notes before we wrap up? It'll be an interesting game where Rotherham will need to make a statement back in League One again. Town just wanting to finish the season off strong.
Yeah, for us, I think I speak for Rotherham fans, this is a huge game. If we lose on Saturday or even draw, then MK Dons pick up a win on the 7:45 kickoff, again live on Sky. We then become cut adrift. We'll be at least 5 or 6 points adrift with only one game in hand, and that this stage of the season, that's almost curtains. It's not curtains, obviously, but it feels like curtains. It's huge. It's absolutely huge for our season, and I am worried. I'm very worried.
It's an interesting game because I'm sure we were hoping going into this one we'll be still in the promotion mix, but unfortunately not. But hopefully we won't ruin your party, but we shall see what will happen when we go to New York Stadium. But Matt, thanks for joining me. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to check out Matt's podcast, New York Talk, for all your Rotherham United needs. And of course, follow the game with us at the East Anglia Daytimes and the Kings of Anglia podcast and videos. And we're back for more videos soon. See you later. Bye-bye.